Welcome to the Legion Outriders podcast, your source for the latest Legion news, opinion, and analysis. And now, the Outriders.
How's it going, Outriders? Matt and Dan here with you. How's it going, Dan?
Oh, it's been great.
Right on. Well, great, really? I think Vegas went on super lockdown. I realized that as I wrapped up the episode last time, or a little short one, that I said, oh, it hasn't been too bad here in Nevada. Not only within hours of me making that statement, like all the releases of the horrible case surge and everything that's been happening here, I was like, oh man, that was unfortunate. I don't think we're quite on fire yet, but there's smoke and sparks. But apparently we had a really bad 4th of July weekend with all of the Californians coming out and filling up the casino. So, oh boy.
Yeah, no. Speaking of fire, we're also on an excessive heat warning right now.
Yeah, lots of excessive heat warnings going on. Mount Charleston was burning, so it's been quite the
fun time
apocalypse.
here in Vegas. Yes.
But we've got a very special episode today. We're actually going to be talking with LJ Peña, Mr. Legion, who's going to be joining us on this show, so we can ask him some questions about life, love, and LVO. Not necessarily in that order, but looking forward to that. Mm-hmm. So, and of course, Dan, what have you been up to?
Just working on my table for LVO.
Yeah, because you got a crown to defend.
Oh, yes.
Have we mentioned that again? I think we mention it just about every week. But I always love seeing your progress shots on what you're doing. So Star Tours 2.0, what have you been working on?
It's been a lot of buildings because I'm trying to bring more elements of the actual ride in. All the previous things I've done with the table were pre-made assets from Thingiverse or other places online. But I'm doing a lot of work in Tinkercad. It's been a crash course in Tinkercad.
I would say, what a way to get motivated to learn a new software program, right?
And the big challenge has been trying to convert, because the ride is essentially an interior experience, and trying to convert that to freestanding buildings on a table has been an interesting experience.
Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting if the ride was actually like out on the tarmac or something like that. You go up for Smuggler's Run or something where it wraps around everywhere and then goes inside.
The remodeled revision of the ride, the new version that's currently available, is more. Their hangar sections are more open, but the original was very claustrophobic with hallways.
I'm trying to remember what the big differences were from the pre-revamp.
Oh, believe me, I've been reviewing so many YouTube videos
fair enough.
For reference material.
I'll have to
you've
send
got
you
lots
some
of
reference material, but that's cool. I like the loading bay. I think that was the current archway that you're working on.
Oh yes, the little gate loading area where we're copying the doors with the monitors above them for the little safety spiel.
Yes. Now boarding. Yeah.
So it's going to be fun. As I said, right in development now. I haven't started slicing or printing anything yet. I have a new printer coming later this summer. I kickstarted this Creality CR6, so hopefully that'll really that'll up my printing game on there. So.
When are you going to get an acrylic cutter? That's what I want to know.
Oh God, I wish I had the money for a Glowforge.
Oh man, right? Maybe someday. Someday. But that's awesome. We need to get a game in. You're back at work now, so our free time isn't quite as...
it is cutting into my hobby time.
Yeah,
so
what's up with that?
Yeah, damn work.
Paying those bills and whatnot. But we got a little bit of Star Wars news to cover.
A little bit. The Mandalorian, which of course is still on track to come out in October,
Yay.
Had an announcement that they're going to have several printed publications released. So they're going to have a novelization, an art book, and a visual guide, which everyone loves the art books and visual guides.
The novelization's going to be interesting. I wonder if it's going to be like Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina or a Certain Point of View, or one of those where it's going to be just independent short stories written by different people.
If it follows any of the normal novelizations they've done with, for say, like the movies, it's been basically the plot line of the movie, but they've had more like this character talking off in a corner, or a little
more embellishment,
a little bit more embellishment, a lot of inner monologue, which you can't get in a
usually the movies
movie.
it's like one continuous story, where Mandalorian is like very episodic in nature, so seems like it would tend to lend itself more to like a short story compilation format.
Yeah,
but I guess we'll see.
Maybe they'll have some more in between episode traveling kind of things. Yeah,
kind of like they did for what was it, the Star Wars, the Aftermath series, where they had little vignettes between the chapters. I mean, that's where we found out about the Mandalorian armor. Interludes, thank you. That's cool. So novelization,
an art book and a visual guide.
Woo!
So that's
I'm getting
gonna
both of
be good.
those.
Oh yeah. So that's going to be good reference for all you painters out there getting, Clan Ren or any of the other Mandalorian models out there.
Oh yeah.
So if you need any reference, the visual guides have always been a great reference material for if you're doing canon painting. Though I always advocate do non-canon, have fun with it.
Yeah.
Get your own.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, hey, yeah. Some people like to be very, literal with their translations from the shows or movies, and then others that hey, pink stormtroopers with cat ears, let's do it.
Oh yeah. Well, my army, it's all the great urban camo and everything.
Yeah,
so that's why I love mine.
for sure.
I always love a non-canon personal.
Sorry, go ahead.
I always love a personalize your army, make it your own.
Yeah, I think the Empire says non-personal better. But actually, I had a follow-up question. So when you're done with those files for the Star Tours, are you going to make them available?
I don't.
Oh,
don't know.
You're going to hoard the secret knowledge to yourself?
Yes.
All right, send emails to Dan, I don't share my information at legionoutriders.com.
I want to see how well these print first.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, let's just not put the cart before the horse.
Exactly.
There. But oh man, yeah, art book. I'm very
visual guys.
They better have the end credit like artworks. And, it's gonna be all that, right?
Hopefully,
it's got to.
No, we need prints of those. We don't need a book of that.
For super real.
But yeah, in addition to that, they're going to do also several young reader adaptations. So a junior novel, a young adult novel, and then a kid's novel.
I hope it has lots of pictures because that's my.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be all focused on the child at that point. Like for the kid stuff, it's all going to be about Baby Yoda.
For real. And then, so I think there's lots of Star Wars rumors, but we try not to rumor monger when we can.
Unfortunately, some of those rumors are rather negative because of rumored things going on on the back end of.
But if you're paying attention, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Otherwise,
Padme. Yep. On the FFG side of things, Cad Bane and Padme had their release date confirmed since the last time we recorded. It's now confirmed for July 17th, provided Asmodee is shipping on time, which our friendly store, Power 9, the shop owner there, has confirmed that Asmodee should be receiving.
Should be good. Apparently, they're getting better about getting their shipments out on time.
I know, it's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, I would say next Saturday you want to get a game in. Try out some. Do I do Padme or Cad? I don't know. How about you branch out a little bit and get to your roots as a Republic army?
I'll have to borrow you.
Yeah, I mean you're absolutely welcome to. You want to borrow some Rebels too?
And also, of course, just like Adepticon, Gen Con this year was canceled, of course, with everything going on out there.
Because it should be happening like any day, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise?
Well, it was supposed to be a little bit later this month. But
okay.
But of course, FFG, which would have been doing their famous in-flight report, which if you haven't seen their previous ones from previous years, it's where they announce a lot of new products. It's half so much so with industry and game store owners showing, hey, this is what you're going to have to sell, and half for the players to say, hey, this is what's coming to buy. But we're assuming that, of course, a lot of the previously leaked things, like
what was some of the highlights of last year's, almost 1 year ago?
Oh God, I should have reviewed that before this.
I would say, wasn't that where the AAT and
no, that was Clone Wars announced.
Was it Clone Wars? No, is it? No, that was. No,
I could have sworn it was Clone. Was that or the year before?
Oh well,
it was one of those years. I just remember my personal one was before Legion even launched. Was when they announced the assault gunboat for X-Wing, and the collective X-Wing community lost their minds.
Yeah. And then 2.0 came out and they didn't reprint it. They reprinted all the old ships.
Luckily, I actually have a pile of gunboats. I have like 6 of them.
Wow,
I am an old school X-Wing player.
So quite a mint.
I know they're all open, of course.
I mean, I don't think people care
now at this point. So. But they are sitting on my model shelf right now.
Oh, wow, so nice.
They're flanking my
embarrassment of riches.
Yes,
truly.
They're flanking my Imperial Raiders. But yeah, so that in-flight report. Sorry, we got off track there. What would have been at that? Just like with Adepticon a couple months ago, where they did an online streamed presentation, they'll be doing their in-flight report streamed this year on July 29th, and they've timed it at 4 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. Eastern on July 29th. So we'll get to see all the new stuff announced.
What day of the week is that? 29th?
Oh,
let me get my calendar. Yeah, hold on. We have the technology,
but
it's gonna be a Wednesday. It'll be an hour before my usual stream, so I'll be able to at least watch part of it. Hopefully, it won't be like X-Wing for an hour and then they'll get into Legion.
Well, I'm assuming they'll show off some of the Clone Wars stuff for Armada they didn't show off at the Adepticon scream and disappointed the Armada community. Aww. We're sorry, Armada community. I know you're kind of the redheaded stepchild of the Star Wars miniatures community.
They don't like being talked down to.
I know. Yeah. I'm sorry, Armada, but but some of the things that have been leaked for Legion, like Maul and Anakin, we're expecting to see, and hopefully we'll have some good surprises there too.
Yeah, more good surprises is always a good surprise. Yeah. But anyway, so that's kind of news light this week. We're going to be back in just a couple minutes with our interview with Senor LJ Peña, the spiciest of Peñas, and we'll be right back, Outriders.
You are receiving the Legion Outriders podcast. Ending the transmission now would be most unfortunate. And now, the Outriders.
How's it going, Outriders? Matt and Dan back with you, and we're joined by the one that got away of the show, LJ Peña. How's it going, LJ?
Hey guys, good to be back. I know it's been a long time since I've been able to hop on, but
it's been a little bit.
Yeah, happy to join you once again.
Yay! And we've actually got stuff to talk about, but Dan was actually checking before the show. When was the last time we had LJ on?
Oh, I didn't get the date, but yeah, I went back through the Legion Outriders archives to the last time LJ was on the show, and it was with John and Jeff. So Matt, you weren't present. So we have a completely different crew present for this time around.
Actually, that's true. Wow. Man, you get passed around, old one who got away. You didn't get very far away, I guess. But you still think about us?
They always bring me back in.
That's right. But how are you doing today? How are things with the new baby Peña?
Everything has been great with the new baby. Dylan is doing quite well. We're already working on his dice rolling skills. He's better at it than you think for a 1-month-old. Actually, he is about a month old today, which is very exciting. So just under, but pretty close. So yeah, okay. I mean, it's been good. Luckily, Emily is on her maternity leave. I'm on my summer break from school. So I've been able to just focus on baby stuff, which is great. And we've just been, taking it day by day and enjoying our little dude. Luckily, because he's been a great baby, I think by all accounts, I've been able to still do stuff on the side. I've still been able to, play games, coordinate upcoming tournaments of note, and, just generally still be a part of the community, which is something that, of course, I didn't want to miss out on.
Oh, for sure. But I think it was pretty optimistic of you to actually come up with a name when everybody's just going to refer to it as the child.
Yes, he's already referred to as the child by several of my friends, so I'm not surprised, and it's gonna be like that for a while. It do be like that. Any chance you might be bringing the child to LVO? I should like to see the child. What was funny is I actually had this conversation with John Griffin, who I was talking to, trying to get him to judge this upcoming LVO, because he had a daughter days before my kid was born.
Oh, really?
And so we've been making jokes about this for a while, and I think the plan is that yes, his wife, Emily always likes to come, and both our two new kids will all be one family unit. As in, our wives are going to bring the babies and probably set up some sort of playpen area in our ballroom. If I was a betting man.
Yeah, some sort of fortified position.
The judge table's going to be lit this year.
Well, that's fantastic. And we already know who to start sending bribes to.
Yes.
So, well, we don't know if he agreed yet. Did he agree?
I'm working on it.
Oh, okay.
Well, if anyone needs to rage quit and just throw their models, just toss them the playpen for the kids to play with. And
that'll have something to do.
Yeah.
I could see a face-off in the making of the two chitlins, like in a couple of years' time for Legion 3.0 or something, for the honor of the respective families.
Yeah, the kids are going to run the demo table eventually. That'll get them in, and my goal is to one day have a child that is good enough at the game to challenge the Luke Cook Dynasty, which I'm sure the Cook Dynasty,
wow.
because Luke has younger brothers, that the Dynasty is a thing. I'm telling you now.
Just stay out of the way. I think that's the best course of action there. But, okay, we have a series of questions for you, LJ, to put you in the hot seat, because we are serious journalists here with integrity.
Since when?
Shush, just go with it. Man.
It's a new thing they're trying.
Yeah, we're trying it on, see how it sticks. But would you like to lead off, Mr. Daniel?
Yeah. So, I mean, with the baby and all around, you've had some time, but not a lot of time, I'm sure. Are you working on any hobby projects, painting, modeling? What you working on right now?
So I actually am not working on Legion right now because I'm basically caught up. So it's a good reason.
Okay.
I don't paint my droids, as I've talked about before with people. I have a friend that has done my droid army for me. And his airbrush.
You've got your own John?
I do have my own John. I even have a John model here. Speak of the devil. But anyway, his airbrush broke, and so the tank and the B2s were up next on his list, and he's not going to be able to get to them probably for some time, which doesn't really matter during our current COVID state, but is something I'd like to have done eventually. So no, the thing that I'm actually working on right now is I have a Flames of War army. I just started.
Really?
Yeah, I've been working on a U.S. force centered around the M10 tank destroyer. And so I have a close friend that's been teaching me how to play that I'm going to be probably continuing to expand. And then I also had a Lord of the Rings that I had started to work on before COVID, and that's something that's still kind of going on in the background. So me, as somebody who likes to travel to conventions and play all sorts of different game systems, I really wanted to have a bit of ammo in my back pocket. So if I go to an event that I'm, not running, which I know isn't super often, I want to be able to have multiple systems with me so I can jump around and, play all sorts of games. If Legion, for example, didn't pan out for me, I'd still have other stuff to do.
You heard it here first. LJ quitting Star Wars Legion forever.
Abandon ship.
See, there's that journalistic integrity.
And I actually did have a friend hit me up because he wanted to split the new Indomitus box with me. And I mean, I think the last time I played 40K was 6th edition, I'd like to say. So if I forayed back in that direction, it has certainly been a while. And I was a huge Tyranid player back in the day, as well as some Death Corps of Krieg. So the Indomitus box is neither of those, but maybe
that's
one day.
for sure. And apparently it's sold out within like 15 minutes on the GW website itself. So yay, artificial scarcity.
Yeah, you're lucky to get one then.
Yeah, I've heard reports that the boxes are going for like $350 online. But anyways,
wow.
I'll have to talk to you about Flames of War, because I actually have an army for that from way back in the day when I was living in England. I'm curious what the game looks like these days. But it's okay. I don't have time to play that game either, so what's the point? Next question on the hot seat.
I mean, tangentially related to that, we've been posting on the Discord a few of the buildings you've been printing up for terrain. So how's that been working out for you?
I'm actually taking a bit of a break at the moment because it's been quite warm here where I live, and it's hard for me to run the printer in the same office room that I game in and do all that sort of stuff. So I haven't been doing that as much this past week, but I did start work on my Mandalorian fishing village table, which is very exciting because that's thematic as hell. And I can't wait for that to be a table that we get to play on sometime soon. In fact, Graham, who did a particularly good Naboo table, amongst others, this past LVO, he's the one that the terrain is going to, because he's going to hobby it up for me, to include a broken down ATST that he's going to paint in the Raider style.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got some competition this year, Dan.
Yeah. We'll talk a little table competition a little later.
Oh, yeah.
Little later. Okay.
And the table competition is definitely going to be a thing. So I'm excited to share those deets when we get to them.
Oh, nice. Good. Okay. All right. Next question.
Well, you mentioned you're all caught up, but, just in a week from now, we're going to have Cad Bane and Padme out. You looking forward to any other future releases?
Definitely Commandos. I have Cad Bane ordered, and I think I have Cad Bane ordered just because the model is awesome, and I definitely want it on my shelf. I'm not as hot on him just from a droid standpoint. I definitely
He's not
like
a droid.
I like the faceless army of droid feel. And so I like to keep it to, Grievous or Dooku thing and not have any other squishies in there. So I don't know how much I'm going to be running him personally, but I know that I'm particularly excited for Commandos because especially now with silhouettes, I'm just going to go crazy on those models. I'm going to get 3 sets, I'm sure, and I'm just going to go to town because they have so many possibilities, so many things that come with them in the box. It's a great kit, and I know they're going to be fun. I can't wait for them to actually hit the table.
Well, yeah, you use them a lot in the last Invader League.
Ooh, that's an excellent segue.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's those? Those little things that they're powered. They're kind of like scooters, but you roll around in them.
Oh yeah, the little. Oh god, I forgot the name of them.
Yeah, Segway.
Hover around things.
So talk about
I thought talking about the stupid one that all the people crashing on their.
I thought we had already made the transition. I was like, "Oh, you're talking about Staps?" What?
Yeah.
Oh man, I would love a Segway painted like a Stap.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would die instantly, but that would be cool.
Anyway,
but yeah, how was your run in Invader League?
It wasn't as good as I hoped for, and that's okay because I learned probably more than I have any other Invader League season. I was in. I don't think it was the group of death. There was another group that, like, when I saw all the groups, I was like, "Oh, yikes! That's not the one I want to be in." But a couple people had kind of dubbed it as like a good option B to the group of death title because there were a lot of great players in it. ASEP/Jace, who is somebody who helps out with the Legion Academy and terrain builds with the terrain studio. He was in that group playing a very meta clones list. You had Nima, who was also playing clones, trying out a lot of new stuff. Orchimedes, who was playing droids and actually ended up going 5-0 in that group.
Wow.
And then 2 other people I didn't know, Chozasin and Moser. So I ended up going 2 and 3. However, I do kind of laugh at that record because every single game that I lost basically came down to 1 or 2 moves, which is great. That's why.
Really?
Wow.
That's why even though I didn't advance this season, I loved playing in it because I learned so much about the Vibro Staver droids that I brought to this season, and that was the list that I focused on was Dooku, 6 B1s, and then 3 Stabber Commandos with the upgraded Vibro swords, and then 2 of them had the jammers. And so it was really fun to see that list on the table. It had a ton of potential, and during my last 2 games, I could really see what the best strategies were, and it was just a good lesson for me that, like, I as a player, I really have to get between 10 or 15 games in with the list before I play it with any degree of competency. That's kind of just how I feel about my own internal practice. And that's not what I did before this last season. So I could definitely see, like, oh yeah, this makes a lot more sense. This is how you should play them versus what I did when I went back and looked at my games. So I made sure all my games were streamed or I self-streamed them. And I did have a couple people that tuned into those self-streams, and they said they kind of liked that style because I would voice so my opponent couldn't hear. I would go through every decision that I made, basically, and react to the decisions my opponent was making. And when I go back and watch that, it really actually was a very positive thing for my learning process. So that's definitely something I'm going to try to keep doing when I play TTS.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I could definitely see, you definitely see it with people like do Magic, the Gathering and stuff like that, so they can externalize what they're thinking about, what's going on. And as long as your opponent's not just like watching you also, listening to the battle plans, I think, that's actually a really cool way to do it.
Yeah, I got to sit on a few of those games that you were self-streaming there, LJ, and it was quite both an entertaining and amusing experience.
That's good. I'm glad people like to listen to me talk to myself.
Well, aren't they doing that right now?
That's
true.
No, we're here too. Come on, Dan.
If you haven't named that list yet, may I suggest I got to practice my stabbing?
Gotta practice my stab. And was that, believe it or not, I called it, well, I don't know about believe it or not, but I actually called it Dirty Dooku in the boys.
Nice.
Nice. Just reminded of the stabbing robot from Futurama. Right? Roberto. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Be over here practicing my stabbing.
So yeah, any other memorable moments out of Invader?
Just kind of looking back, I think it was great to see the new factions so well represented. I think part of that had to do with people like myself that, they were done playing the older armies. They really wanted to try the new. But also, it was interesting to see new units like commandos and arcs hit the field. And so for me, as somebody who's always kind of looking ahead, I love to see these units hit the table digitally before they hit the table physically. And I think
so you can gather intel.
Yes, exactly. And I think one of the coolest things for me personally as a droid player was that I kind of avoided staps like the plague, because I really was not too hot on them and kind of their basic package when I looked at them. And then when I saw people like Ellis and Garn, and Garn is in the top 4, when I saw, them go out there and do so well with them, it really kind of made me change my thinking a little bit. So both, I think the final 4 is 2 droid to Republic, and both of the droid players, Garn and Ellis, have staps in their droid list. So it definitely kind of made me reevaluate their use on the battlefield, and also something that I think I'll probably pay more attention to in the future. I really was not a bike person as an Imperial player, so I think the staps just kind of went into the same whatever part category of my brain, and I didn't really give them the time of day. But also I wanted to focus the commandos.
Okay. So maybe Dirty Dooku and the boys are going to turn into a biker gang at some point?
Yes, they'll have their fast attack wing.
Nice. Okay, so Invader, you're out for the season, so sorry. You gave it your best, 2 and 3. That seems okay. Yeah, no kidding. But really, what we're here for, that sweet, sweet LVO talk.
Yep, coming from the last major event before everything went crazy was LVO, and it's looking to be that the next major event is going to be the next LVO.
Well, hopefully. I mean, fingers crossed it all goes off. But what can you tell us that, tickets went on sale, last week, 2 weeks ago?
Last Tuesday. Tuesday. So a week and a half ago now. Overall, it was great. The whole ticket selling experience, rather, was just something I did not expect would do so well. And I know, the past 2 LVOs have sold out, and they've done really well just in terms of pushing the envelope on how many players we have in the room at one time. But with how uncertain things are right now, I just really was not sure what was going to happen, and was so pleasantly surprised that everybody reacted so well and was willing to put their faith in us once again. For those of you who might not be as in the loop, last year we had 3 events in total, but the main kind of focus as far as me trying to sell tickets was, all right, let's sell out the main event. And we sold out the main event 64 tickets in about 5 hours. The difference between this year and last year is that the main event is all happening at one time instead of 2 heats of 64, and so we put all 128 together on one ticket, one afternoon, Friday at LVO, and that sold out in 2.5 hours.
That's
crazy.
Yeah, so crazy. We did double the tickets in half the time. I mean, it was definitely a bit of a morale booster for me, and made me realize that people are still very committed to playing Legion at tournaments and conventions, and that at a minimum, even if LVO doesn't happen, again, people were willing to put their faith in that it was going to happen and be a great event once again.
Very nice. But that's fantastic news. It really is, because we've been in kind of a little bit of a furlough and a slump for, can't go just hop on down to the local game store and get games in, because it's a little bit more complicated. But I'm very excited, and hopefully everything will go forward at LVO and have a safe, positive environment for everybody. But that is fantastic news, and I'm really glad that so many people came. I actually woke up in a little bit of a panic that day because I overslept. And I was like, oh no, tickets are on sale. And I saw you, Daniel, and one of the other local guys chatting in our little group about it. And I was like, oh, I got to go get my tickets. Yeah. And I made it in, luckily. At least you got my name right, LJ?
We do. I actually just got the list of the people who bought tickets yesterday, which is great.
Oh, really?
Because I definitely wanted to check, see who's coming, see who had committed and stuff like that. Because, of course, I haven't been able to talk to everybody and see who I know personally that is coming. Speaking of former Outriders, I did actually convince John to do the narrative event and bring his Wookiees down for some fun.
I'm so glad that you did that, because I was actually dropping him off at the airport the night before, and I was like, dude, don't. He's really hot on 9th edition right now. And I'm like, but you're going to go to a competitive event. You're going to be miserable because, it's not 40K is not a good competitive game. It's a fun hobby game. This is the way we interact with it. I'm not saying you're bad if you do that. But I was like, you're going to have a lot more fun if you do Star Wars, because that is a competitive game you can enjoy. And he's like, oh, I don't know, maybe. So I'm glad you put the thumb screws to him.
And I'm happy he was willing to commit to it, because let me tell you guys, narrative event is going to be so good.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Ryan has done a great job in building this thing from the core up. So I'm going to go ahead and go over it really quickly, if that's okay.
Oh, please.
Ooh, please, yes.
So it's not just a narrative event. It's a narrative escalation event. So what that means is you're going to be playing 4 games in total in about the same time frame you would for a regular Legion tournament. Because you're going to start out at, I believe it is the 300-point level. So it's going to start very small with basically just a leader and 2 squads backing them up. But the reason why we're doing that is because you're on a team of 4 players. And like Yavin-based Team League, you're going to, with your captains, choose, and draft your opponent each round, playing against another team of 4. So over 4 games, your opponents are going to be from the same enemy team. And you're going to have a special leader that is going to take command of your forces. So for the Empire, there's a Moth, an Inquisitor, an ISB agent, and a veteran. For the Rebellion, there's a Senator, Force Adept, Spy, and Freedom Fighter. And what we've been able to do is we've been able to get with Skullforge Studios, and they're going to be providing a model for every single person that attends the narrative event, 48.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
So you will get that model at the start of the event. You'll level it up over the course of your 4 games. And then at the end of it, you'll go home with that model and keep it as a keepsake of your time at the narrative escalation event.
Oh, I'm glad I get in on that this year.
Yeah,
I missed it last year.
If any spots open up, because people make it into day 2 in the main event, jump on this, because it's going to be a great time, and I'm really looking forward to the custom models everybody is going to get. I'm looking forward to the prize support, and there's a couple other surprises along the way that I won't ruin for Ryan, because that is his event.
Okay. Well, that sounds fantastic. Or what you could do if you get to day 2 is drop from that and then play in the narrative. That's the power move.
I'm going to have to ask people who made it into day 2, like, hey, is anybody here not planning on playing in day 2? Because they still want to play in the narrative event, because I want day 2 to be the full 64 people for them.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
No, if you make it to day 2, you should play day 2.
But yeah, that's actually a pretty good segue then for the main event, because
ring, ring.
The main event, as I mentioned before, 128 players, 3 rounds, and 2-1s advance. So you're going to have a chance to lose a game but still play on. Which
so round 1.
Yeah, so round 1 for some people. And I think that'll be great, because I know it sucks to, have to go 3-0 or 4-0, and, you drop a game and you kind of feel down for that last game, or you bounce out. I want people to stay the full time, and so we kind of put that as an incentive to help. And then all of the 2-1s and above will advance to day 2. That'll be 64 players or so, and they'll play another 3 rounds, and the top 8 from that will advance to the final day. Now,
as long as they're sane still.
as long as they're sane. Now, I will say that the 3 more games they have to play on Sunday are going to be a little different because we are going to include chess clocks. And that's because we really kind of crunched that data from, trying to look at, okay, was there slower play in the middle section? Was there slower play up front? Was there slower play on the back end? And we found that, of course, as time goes on, those days that are super critical, those games that are very critical, especially towards the end, those are the ones that tend to really drag down. So we wanted to try something new. We based it off other stuff that actually happens at LVO with like the 40K events. And as you get higher in the 40K competitive events, the chess clocks can come out. Sometimes they're optional, sometimes they're mandatory, but I wanted to go ahead and give that a spin. That's not something that's been like mandated by FFG, but I particularly wanted to try it because LVO simply has data that other people haven't been able to get because of the pure numbers.
Wow. No, I completely support and endorse the adoption of chess clocks. I'd love to see it for the rest of the game, but I know I might be a crazy wackadoodle guy screaming from my mountain. But no, I'm really excited to hear that, and I hope everybody else has a positive experience for it because, it's used, as you mentioned, in other competitive games, and it's very useful.
And it makes sense. The end days drag on. Everyone's tired. If that cash bar is open again right outside our hall.
Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
Oh, you can bet I asked about that cash bar. We are so getting that cash bar back.
Boy.
Nice.
And I believe, and I know I kind of had already mentioned it, but I do believe we're in the same spot. We're currently slated for that Las Vegas ballroom. So, yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't a bad spot.
That was going to be my next question, but that's actually, it was a pretty sweet spot.
For those of you that are out of town, when you make reservations at Bally's in particular, you usually don't get to pick what tower you're in. But I highly recommend you call the hotel as we get a couple months out and make sure that you're in the Jubilee Tower because the Jubilee Tower is where the Las Vegas ballroom is. And so we were able to just hop in an elevator, walk down a flight of stairs, and be at our event, which was awesome.
Oh, man. Still, hey, LJ, you might want to put something on over those boxers, but still, hey. Yeah, convenience, you can't beat it.
I mean, convenience. It's what I live for.
I left my pants here last night.
I want to be comfortable.
You just don't care about everybody else's
going
comfort.
on day 3, no one's going to care. Believe me.
Yeah.
So we mentioned it earlier. Let's talk about that table competition.
Oh, really? Is that what you want to know about?
Yeah, I'm kind of itching about that.
Okay.
So there's 2 side competitions, really 3 side things that are going on during LVO that I'm excited about. The first one is Saturday, Sunday. We will be having demos. And I actually have somebody that lives nearby that should be bringing a very special demo table to LVO here from Southern California. So we've got that going on the side, which is awesome, that we'll be giving away probably some product for people that do participate in our demos.
Great.
The painting competition is getting totally revamped. Thunderhead Studios, who is helping me build some tables for this LVO. And he was also, if you guys remember, he was also the person that painted the Samurai Luke and Vader from 2019.
Those were fantastic.
Yes, so he is fully on board. He's going to be assisting us this LVO. And so while I don't have the exact details yet, he is going to be working our painting competition into something a little more legit this time. I feel like in the past it's been there, but it hasn't really been expanded upon, and it does kind of feel like something that's hobbled together at the last minute. We wanted to bring him to the forefront to kind of help us run something that looked a little more legit. So I know he is planning on doing individual character, squad, large figure / vehicle, and maybe even a diorama category. And we'll have 3 or 4 different categories of things you can enter in, and then we'll create packets that you'll be able to look at beforehand for the rules of judging those.
Oh, okay.
Very cool.
Do you need to be in the championship event to enter? Asking for a John.
I don't think I'm going to mandate that. I know in the past, the painting competition for the coins that FFG gives away, you basically had to have that unit in your army and therefore also be playing in something. But this, we're running it separately as like, this is something that like I'm doing. This is not part of like the official category that they like
Oh, okay.
at events.
It's its own event now.
Right, because I want to do something that is a little more all-encompassing, where you don't have to have that unit in your army or whatever. So I think that is actually, yes, the plan is we'll be able to open it up to basically anybody that brings a Legion item by us on Friday. And then on top of that, the stuff that you can submit is going to be much bigger than it was in the past. And that'll be on Friday. We're going to conduct that completely on Friday, just to get it out of the way nice and early, but also so the people that do well, we can submit that to the official LVO paint contest so they can maybe win something for the convention.
Oh.
Because
Nice.
there's a really big paint competition at LVO every year, which I'm sure you guys know.
Was that Crystal Brush or something like that?
Something.
I don't know if that's the one. Something.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I can't wait to see the B1 battle droid take it home for all of LVO.
Yes, the
best
humble
painted
B1
battle
battle droid. Excellent.
Roger.
So that, of course, gets us to the table competition. I totally didn't say that for last on purpose. So Terrain Studio has kind of taken over that for me. That's one of the great parts about this year, is there are several community members that have really stepped up, and they've just basically taken over parts of LVO for me, which is great because it allows me to just focus on other aspects of them. But anyway, so Sean is going to be sponsoring that competition, which is great. That means we're probably going to have a pretty legit prize, although one has not been picked yet. I know that with that kind of backing, you can expect something of a very high quality. So we're going to do probably the exact same thing we did last time. We'll put out a call for tables a couple months out of the event. We'll give people a month and a half, 2 months to submit those tables to us online via the LVO Legion event email. And then we'll give them a score based on categories that Brendan created last year. We'll probably reuse those because those were quite good. But I'd like to, just like the other things, I'd like to kind of expand that this time. And once those tables are submitted, I think I'm going to try to incorporate a community vote this time as well. That way, it's not just your terrain judges that are judging it, but also you have, the community members get to vote on these tables. Not vote if they get to be used or not. That's still good. Always going to be Brendan's prerogative, but they're going to get to influence the winner of that competition. And I think that'll be looked at positively by the community.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds like you're going to have some stiff competition this year, though, Dan.
So, that just means I have to start my bribes earlier.
Yeah. You asked me earlier who the bribe should go to, and Dan, I didn't see a baby shower gift from you. I'm so sorry.
That's a good point. We already dropped the ball there. Well, we're still working on the floating baby carriage technology there. So your levitation pram is under construction.
Yes.
We have
Sick.
top Dan's working on.
That's exactly what I need. Is a levitation pram.
So speaking of competitions and prizes and whatnot, how's prize support looking this year?
Well, we've already talked about the custom models from Skullforge Studios. There is more of that is also going to be thrown in the event, which is great. I actually don't do a ton of work related to prize support this early out because it's just so early for people to commit. But the opposite side of that is there's a lot of people that have come to me that have tried to bring support to the table already, which is awesome. So we know we're getting the standard FFG kit. We know at the moment we're going to get to give away 4 invites to 2021 Worlds, which is great. That's what solidified it as like the first official, U.S. competition back since the last LVO.
They still do that?
They do still do that, or at least they try to plan for it. God bless them. Yeah. I know that there are probably going to be a number of gift cards that are on the table because so many different companies are attending this one. It's crazy. Dave's coming back from Imperial Terrain. As I mentioned, Thunderhead Studios is going to be there. Fifth Trooper is going to be representing as always. And I think we'll get more details on that as time goes on. But the the custom swag is once again in full swing, and I will say, I don't know how much I'm supposed to talk about this, so if my friend is listening, I apologize in advance. But I have a friend who's working on a solution to carrying around your army that I think is both thematic as hell and pragmatic. And I really don't want to steal too much of his thunder, so I'm not going to get too much into detail.
Oh, okay.
But this is a project that will be kickstarted eventually. And by eventually, I'm talking like we're still like 6 months out at least. However, his custom V1, all expenses paid for version of this product sounds like it is going to be either giveaway prize or the prize for the #1 overall winner at LVO this year. And
oh my goodness.
I am very excited to share more details about that because it's something that he kind of brought to my table and was like, yeah, you're somebody who travels and goes to competitive events. What do you think about this? And we ended up clicking really well and talking about it even more. And I think it's really something that people who appreciate Star Wars are going to love the little details he's put into it, but also it should be modular enough that you can use it for other game systems, not just for Legion.
Well, I can't wait to see more. Is there a good resource people can actually tune into to get updates from LVO and what's going on there?
There is. There is a Las Vegas Open Star Wars Legion Facebook page. I update there as frequently as I can. It's also got the links to the wait list for the various events if people want to still put their name on that, which we always have spots open up, so I do recommend you. And then I also share a lot of information on the Star Wars Legion Discord. There's a specific LVO channel there that I love to share information. Actually, most of the spoilers that I share go in that channel. So the stuff that I want to see and get a pulse on, that's where I like to put that kind of stuff to see what people think about it before I release it to the quote unquote masses. But that's probably where we're going to put the previews of the Skullforge models for the narrative events there for sure sometime in the future once we nail down exactly what those are going to be. Then the guy that did the First Order and Resistance homebrew cards, Clever Clinker, Danny, who's also done like a ton of those custom community expansions, he is the one that's doing the cards for the narrative event. We're making custom cards to go along with the custom characters. And so he's been working diligently to get those done already, and we will probably be sharing them soon.
Wow. Well, that sounds fantastic, man. I'm very excited to see all the stuff that's going to be coming out from that. Last on that topic, before we get to some very special Discord patron questions for you. But if somebody is interested in contributing to the community and helping out with LVO, where would they go? Can they message you? Are you just giving shout outs for people to do certain things? How can they get involved?
Yeah, I recommend that they hit me up on Discord. That's probably the quickest way to do it. Under Talk Polite in the
Talk Polite
Discord. Yeah, Talk Polite, yo. I have one of the Coolio purple name tags, so it's pretty easy to find me. But you can also go to the Las Vegas Open Tournament and Con section and talk to me there. You can also message us at the LVO Facebook page that I was talking about, the specific Legion one. I'm not the only one there on that, though, so if somebody else looks at it, they might be kind of confused. Because I know Reese from Frontline Gaming is technically on that channel, or he can see questions there, so he might be very confused. If you start asking him about stuff. And I mean, it's good though, like if you're interested in contributing, definitely, start to socialize those things with me now, because I realized as I was talking about where to contact me that I forgot several things I wanted to mention as far as prize support is concerned that I didn't even mention because there's so much exciting stuff going on.
Do you want to talk about them real quick?
The first
I'd
one,
be okay with that.
The first one should be obvious, because what is a Las Vegas Open without Las Vegas Open poker chip order tokens?
Oh boy! Oh man, they've been so good too.
Yeah,
I use mine all the time.
It's a Las Vegas tradition.
It is a Las Vegas tradition. It originated there, and it has spread to literally all over the world. And I honestly couldn't be happier. Somebody asked me before this LVO if we were going to do that again, because so many other people have. And I am so happy that other people have taken that idea and they've continued to replicate it because I would much rather have a good idea out there in the community where everybody's, perfecting it, making their own version of it, than keep a good idea to myself. And, my goal when I originally started making those tokens was kind of to inspire other people. So the next time I went to an event, every single person I played against would have a different set of tokens from, their local store, their hometown, another convention. Yeah. And it's been so fun to see people make their own that it really just kind of inspired me to be like, you know what, we really should do this again because it's such a special thing for the community at this point.
It would be kind of interesting if, like, down the road, like, pin trading is a big thing at conventions. Like, eventually people have multiple set of these awesome poker chips. You're like, oh, here's one from Canada. Oh, here's from LVO, 3 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And you can trade sets like that or something.
So that's definitely what we'll be doing next is we'll be focusing on those, getting the art done, because this will be the first U.S. event with silhouettes. Six Up Supply has also agreed, those guys have also agreed to make a silhouette for every single person that is planning on attending our events.
Oh, nice.
And those should have the LVO 2021 logo on them, which will be a keepsake of your time at the convention.
So not only is it practical, it's also a bit of swag to remember the event by.
Yeah, and practical in the fact that everyone will have the exact same silhouette, so hopefully there won't be any judge calls on this person's silhouette is too big or too small.
And this one was just right.
You can't complain when we all have the same crappy silhouette, okay?
High quality, custom designed, bespoke silhouettes.
And I don't say crappy because of 6 Up. I say crappy because, man, some people are down on silhouettes, and I don't know if you've used them. But no, they're really easy.
Yeah. They're fantastic.
Streamline a lot. I'm surprised. I don't get the people that are down on it.
And like you mentioned earlier, it frees you up to be more artistically creative with your actual models.
Yes, we all know how much I love my jumping jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then the last thing, I think that the secret sauce from last year's event that kind of snuck under the radar were the card
tequila.
Sleeves.
That was
so over the radar. You weren't subtle, Matt. Calm down.
I mean, really? I didn't pull it off? Weird.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, the real MVP, in my opinion, of the swag we gave away last year were the card sleeves. And those were handy. They were Sabak themed. We gave away a set of 10 to each player because it was just much easier to work in 10s than 7s. And so we ended up making kind of a commitment early on to doing those again as well. So I'm hoping that's something that we can do for, the narrative event. Maybe we can do it for the demo table. Maybe we can do it for all the people that go 3-0 on day 1 or something like that. That's one of the other things too that I want to really focus on with the prize support this year is even though like you can go 2-1 and still advance to day 2, I want to make sure there's prizes for going 3-0 and sticking with it. Or like on day 2 for the people in the main event who go 2-1, you're probably not going to make it to day 3 because it should only be undefeateds that advance. But hopefully I can introduce a prize to still make it worth it for those people to keep trying, even though they know they already dropped a game.
Sure. So, yeah, I mean, other than just the pleasure of playing, top-ranked people and getting your licks in that way. But demo table, players, you had to incentivize. Maybe throwing some to like community podcasts that specialize in this kind of thing. I'm just saying, there's all sorts of outlets available for people that are interested in these sleeves.
Well, if somebody would set aside a chance cube.
Like we can wheel and. Would you care to make a wager on that?
Those things are so cool, and I love to use like percent chance things in like D&D and just gaming in general. I need me a chance cube one of these days.
I think we have some left over from the rewards, so we'll have to take some with us and give out as spot prizes or something. But yes, I'm sure we could find one to make its way over to you. Don't worry.
Maybe they can be used as bounty prizes, which I do believe bounties are going to come back once again.
Oh yeah, the bounties were cool.
Yeah, the bounty horde is going to be back.
Oh yeah,
and
count us in for that.
Bounties will be much easier too because the main event is all one heat. So I don't have to worry about like, I can only give away prizes for one day instead of both days, or all the bounties are gone by Saturday. I don't have that kind of problem to worry about either. So that's something that, again, a community member has stepped up, and they're going to be handling that. John Griffin will probably be fully in charge of that, which is another great reason why he's going to be on my staff this year.
Okay.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that so many people in the community are reaching out to you. Is there anything then that the community can help you with? Is there anything being overlooked right now that you'd like to call out, maybe call to action for any help?
I don't know about overlooked, but I know tables are definitely going to be a big one. We have to get 64 tables together this year. And that's actually not as big of a jump as you would think it is. We had, I think on hand, we had about 48 tables last year. Now, we don't get every single one of those back, but we have seen so far a fantastic response by the community to help us close that gap. And at the moment, as far as what people are committed to bringing, we're actually only about 7 short already.
Oh,
nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, because and this is before the terrain competition, which always brings people out of the woodwork as well. So, like, the fact that has already gone really well. I mean, the Power 9 Games has contributed. Dave, you're bringing your table back. John Brader from the Nova area is bringing a table. Graham has given us tables again. Luke Cook is throwing tables in a suitcase and bringing them. Brendan's bringing his tables. Jedi Hunter was going to bring one. Six Up Supply is committed to bringing some. Imperial Terrain is committed to bringing one. Thunderhead is committed to bringing some. I mean, like, this is the response that we got within the first 48 hours of tickets being sold. So,
and that's why Legion always has the best damn tables at the entire event.
I mean, the best underscore of that for me at last year's competition was, not only the attention that they got from the players, and the attention they generated while on stream, which streaming is coming back again, if I hadn't mentioned that.
Good. Okay.
It was really cool to see Alex Davey walking up and down the tables on Thursday night before everybody clocked out and take pictures of all of them because he was so in love with what he was saying. And I'm just really thankful again for the people that were able to contribute to that.
Well, fantastic, man.
Nice. Is anyone else from FFG? Or I know it's early, but anything else?
Oh, yeah.
Any chance we'll see some FFG presence this year?
I know the offers are going out for Luke and Alex. Luke was supposed to go to Adepticon, and obviously that didn't get to happen. So I know I personally plan on inviting both of them. And there are a couple people of the special guest category that we're trying to get as well. And so I don't want to dive too deep into those just because I don't want to make any promises.
I've already got wild speculations. They're already pinging, man.
Yeah, get your hot takes for who that could be ready.
Okay, so we've got Alan Tudyk confirmed. He's going to be coming out. We've also got
Diego Luna.
Yeah, Diego Luna. Yeah, he's going to be there. Katie Sackhoff, I'm pretty sure. John Favreau.
You know what was really funny about what you just said was that we almost had Alan last year.
Really? Was it last year? I remember like 2 years ago we bandied it about a little bit.
No, we know crap almost had Alan last year because apparently he plays Legion.
Could you say again? I think we lost that.
Sorry.
He what?
Apparently he plays Legion.
I have heard that. And man, Wouldn't that be something special? But anyway, so we'll see if we get some guest appearances.
You heard it here first. Sam Witwer confirmed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Sam Witwer. Of course, Sam. Yeah. But we are running out of time. But real quick, we opened it up to our Patreon Discord, and they had a couple questions for you, LJ. Are you ready for the grilling of a lifetime? Actually, I think. No, you out of time? Time to go?
No, I'm good. I was gonna make a joke that I've dealt with Josh in person, so I can handle it.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. Oh man, that guy. But anyways,
Josh.
Okay. So first series of questions comes from Keegan. Speaking of Mr. Six Up, what super secret prize support can he give you an exclusive on? Well, I think we've already gotten that. The Skullforge.
I feel like you got it. Okay, fine. Yeah. But I will meet you halfway.
Okay.
People loved those Samurai Luke and Vader so much that we want to kind of ride the lightning a little bit on some of the expansions we've heard might be coming up in the future, a la Anakin and Maul. And I believe the plan is to try to make a Samurai Anakin and a Samurai Maul.
That would be fantastic. Okay, I'm glad we good on Keegan. Do you think that your newborn son could take me in a game playing an airspeeder? By me, I mean Outrider Matt.
I thought you were going to say Keegan.
What the hell? Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Keegan because based on how he flew it the last time we played, the answer is definitely yes. But I think we are coming up on the fall time. Fingers crossed that those lovely T-47s get some love and support and some sort of change that really brings them to the tables once again. And by the time Dylan is ready to do battle on a table, that maybe there'll be a challenge for him. But I'm going to give you 50-50 odds on that.
Hey, okay, we'll just roll a chance cube, and I'll take those odds. That sounds like my best plan for success. Let's see. DJ Mouse wants to know Land Before Time or Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Come on now.
Yeah, obviously. Come on.
I'm not going to sacrifice my childhood for the production quality of Jurassic Park.
For real, right?
Oh, with the youngin coming up, growing up now, I'm sure you're gonna be watching more Land Before Time than.
Oh, I hope he didn't miss out on the whole baby shark.
Remember, I mentioned I was a middle school teacher, so there are trends that I unfortunately have not missed out on. That
you're gonna be teaching them Fortnite.
Yes, we'll teach them the Fortnites, and I'll make sure
Fortnite dances.
I'll make sure I dab while playing.
Oh, yes. Dab strong. Okay. From Rock, he wants to know, which is better, in your opinion, ARCs or commando droids?
Ooh. Right. I mean, right now, ARCs. It's kind of not close.
Really? Okay.
That's the thing, is as like a competitive player, looking at the two, commandos are great. They're in a near perfect place as far as where they fit in the droid army and how they were implemented. But looking over the last couple of weeks, in the online sphere, they're kind of like dwarfed by how well ARCs have done and how much utility they bring to the clone armies. So, from my personal standpoint, Roger. The commandos are clearly superior because they're not meatbags. On a competitive table, though, ARCs are just so hard to beat as far as the way they were implemented, and they really, just like the commandos, they've really killed those models, and I can't wait to see how people paint them.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's yay! And silhouettes couldn't have shown up at a better time for it. Okay, let's see. Next one we've got Ali Kai, who wants to know if the child will be making an appearance being carried around in an M41 British bag at LVO.
Well, not the British bag, because I heard somebody owed me a floating pram.
Oh, right. Yeah. Top scientist working on that right now. Yes. Absolutely.
I actually just got a brand new battle foam bag because my local store had a fantastic sale on them that I didn't want to pass up. And there's they make like cup holders for the battle foam bags, and I want to see if I can get one, like a pouch that I can fit like the baby in by that point. But if the baby's If the baby's too big though, then I'll just put foam in. I'll just line it with foam, and I'll just put the baby in there, and then it'll go over my shoulder. It's perfect.
There you go.
Yeah, a lot of those bags have Molly attachment straps on there, so I'm sure there's a like chest rig baby carrier Molly thing that you can snap on.
That's the funny part, right? Is because of the National Guard stuff I do. Of course, I have all sorts of OCP Molly junk that I could totally throw on that battle foam bag. It's like, oh, you want a canteen holder? Here we go. You need a grenade pouch? I got you covered.
Just start out the Mandalorian cosplay, just super strong.
Yep.
But okay, final question from Star Wars hockey fan FL. Do you need any help with terrain? He's got a ton.
Dang. I mean, I'm never, ever, ever going to say no to more tables.
I think that's a slam dunk question right there.
Yeah, that's easy money for me because, as I said, we're about 7 short at the moment. But I know there sometimes might be tables that don't quite make the grade, or maybe some of Brendan's stuff needs a little more love because it's been making the rounds for so long. So
damage in transit.
Yep, and so having backups never hurts us. And to be honest, if people are not using the space, I'm going to take the space. So if we have extra terrain, I will put it out on tables near us and aggressively expand the area that Star Wars Legion has under its heel.
Those are for pickup games over there.
Yeah, exactly. They're for demo and pickup. Demo and pickup.
If we can put next to the Armada guys again, and they're done by day 2.
They get done pretty early. But yeah, that sounds like a great idea. But wow, we've run a little long, but it's been so great talking to you, LJ. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us about all the excitement that's coming our way. Dan, did you have any final questions?
One last question is, do we have any numbers on the wait list?
The wait list question.
You know, I actually don't have that number because Frontline Gaming is the one that makes those wait lists, so they have not shared it with me yet. I know, I'm a bad LJ. I know.
Yes, that's exactly what it's bad, LJ. Oh, chastisement.
Yes,
but definitely.
How could I?
Anyone is interested in going to LVO, definitely get on the wait list. There's always drops.
Yeah, and always. Things happen. Vegas happens.
If just like last year, Frontline saw how big our wait list was. It was as big as our normal list, and they expanded us. So
yeah, they need to have a separate event just for Star Wars Legion now. Just saying. We'll take over the entire convention center. But thank you again, LJ. It's been a treat having you, and we'll be probably touching base with you again as we get closer to the main event, assuming everything goes well and we aren't, shut down for health reasons. But thank you again, brother.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to jump on again, and it's always a pleasure jumping on and talking with everybody. So thanks for having me, and hopefully we catch you again.
Yep, absolutely. Dan, thank you, bud.
Thank you, sir.
Matt, thank me. Yep. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. All right. We'll catch you next time, Outriders. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
This concludes the current episode of the Legion Outriders podcast. You may cultivate a tactical advantage by observing the Outriders on Facebook or Twitter at Legion Outriders. Wisdom advocates subscribing to the podcast. Acting otherwise is reckless.